So today we're talking about cob changes, and who's better than my very own friends who have modified the SHIT out of their engines, and they have better knowledge as me. So as me that I have not done any of this, I am trying to understand what that implies. So as you guys can see, I'm here with James, Sonny, and Mordy. I put their tags on the description as well as probably somewhere in the screen. They're very heavily modified. He's pushing about 1,000,000 horsepower. He's pushing about 50 horsepower, and he's pushing, I don't know, like anywhere 70 horsepower. But yeah, the cars are heavily modified. As you can see, my car, based on what you know, I have only 1 horsepower, which is almost nothing.
And that came from the factory.
Yeah, but so just so we're gonna be talking about the topic,
the biggest news in the Subaru community in the past couple of years,
and what are those cob changes are supposed to impact on the regular wannabe racer average driver. So the news, as you guys know, is that Cobb has stopped creating, selling, and allowing tuners to tune for the flex fuel kit as well as some other items. Can you guys give me the intro of, like, I mean, I obviously read a little bit, but I haven't read that much. But like, what's going on in the race world, if you can say, on the Subaru enthusiast world?
Well, I'll start by saying that I don't blame Cobb, right? I don't blame Cobb for what's going on. We seen it happen with other companies already, with like MagnaFlow and Jags, and even GRIMMSPEED with their non-compliant parts. So Cobb's hand is forced at this, so I don't blame him for that.
Okay.
But what happened is with the EPA cracking down on all these aftermarket, I guess you want to say companies? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Aftermarket
slapping a for off-road use only on it.
Okay.
Does not fly anymore.
For those of you guys that don't know, the EPA is they're pretty much the organization of the government that is in charge of regulating the
Environmental Protection Agency.
There we go. That it regulates every exhaust and fumes and anything that is into the atmosphere. So that's why they're trying to make these changes. Go on.
Yeah. So what happened with Cobb? Basically with their flex fuel kits, and now we're speaking specifically just for Subaru. I can't speak for anything else on Cobb. But with their flex fuel kit, it was messing with emissions. So for the TGVs, especially on the EJ motors, once you did a TGV delete, the signal power and the signal ground was now, once you deleted that, that's the power that was powering the flex kit. So with the EPA and everything like that, we can't mess with emissions anymore. So obviously they
but it's worth noting the fact that they did not do it the right way. Perhaps any company that is in business should not have just allow sales and then suddenly, hey guys,
they're
we're not
catching
supporting
flack
them.
because they were selling the products up until the moment where they stopped supporting the product.
And I think that's where every enthusiast is coming from, where they're saying, well, that's not okay, the fact that I bought that last week and you coming out today saying it's no longer supported. And I mean, you were in contact, or somebody, I think it was you who got in contact, and they say they would respect the credit towards something that they might create, right?
12 months. Yeah, so
for 12 months you can return it, or based on what they come out with as they're looking for the next method to power it, it will be a trade-in or upgrade deal.
As long as it wasn't used.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but then, like, there's limitations to it. Like, right, what if it's more than a year and they haven't come up with anything? And what are you going to buy, paperweight? Because apparently nobody really wants to buy the products, nor what else do they have that, I mean, in your case, for instance, right, you don't want the flex fuel kit anymore. Is there something that you would want to buy from them that as credit if they don't come up with a new version?
Yeah, because I bought a flex kit back in February. I was going through a build myself, and then all this news hit. I just don't agree with how Cobb went about it, because everyone found out at the same time. The tuners, the community, like the people in the middle of their builds, everyone found out at the same time. I won't mention any names, but I spoke with Cobb. As long as it's brand new in the box, if you have a flex kit, they will refund your money. Like James said, if you wanted to do a trade-up program, when they come out with a new carb compliant flex kit, you can trade up to it. What I'm going to do is probably wait.
Okay.
With everyone, with the 14-day window and things like that, it's too much of a rush to rush and tune it and things like that, because you're still going to run into issues down the line.
All right. Now, it's worth noting the fact that it impacts very greatly. And again, like you said, you can't talk about other cars, but it's specifically in Subaru is because Subaru owners usually don't want to just buy a part, tune it, then buy another part, tune it, and they just
Subaru
what they do
culture is hoarding parts
Right.
and doing everything at once.
Right, and then you just end up just paying one time for tuning, which is what some people are really not okay with because they've been ranking up parts for the past year and a half, 2 years, just waiting for the last piece of the puzzle so they can get to their goal in terms of target.
And
So
especially
that's-
right now is springtime, is build season. Everybody's getting their cars ready for the summer, for show season, race season,
Right.
whatever you're doing. Now is the busiest time for that to be ready for summer, and it was just a bomb drop in the middle
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to stop my entire build. The manifold I bought, the
Right.
flex kit I bought, everything.
Yeah.
It's no longer good. I got to find a different way to do it. There's other ways you can still do it. Like you can still go open source.
Right,
there's
yeah.
other tuners
But
that
still,
support it.
there's a hustle on it as
Right,
well. yeah.
Temporarily, you can go open source. ECU Tech has announced they'll be going in the same direction. They
Okay.
just don't have a time frame because
Okay.
they're not U.S. based.
Okay.
Right.
Going back to the topic, I know Cobb was very deceiving to their customers and they did not give a fair warning. And apparently, what is the window right now? Is what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before they push the new update to the
So I
system?
believe when
It was 14 days.
Now it's going to be about a week left.
Yeah.
All right,
Right,
so
yeah, it's about a
today's-
week since the news dropped.
So
about
today's April 23rd, and
It came out on April 18th.
18th.
April 18th. So it's from April 18th will be 14 days, which is about a week and a half for now. So as of a week and a half for now, you will not be able to tune for flex fuel kit for WRX-STI, Subarus in general.
So what that 14 days was from the announcement was there's going to be a forced update for all the tuners on their Access Tuner software. And what that's going to do is gray out certain tables. When they're sitting in your car with the laptop on the dyno, they can adjust everything from your stratified fueling, which is your cold start, any codes for O2 sensors, especially in the STI, it's common deleting the rear O2 sensor to run the wideband.
Right.
Anything for being catalyst and efficiency, IM readiness codes for when you need to pass inspections.
Right. Yeah.
With the TGV deletes, same thing. That's a code that needs to be deleted. So the flex fuel itself, they will probably fix fairly quickly because flex fuel is actually better, environmentally speaking, than running pump gas.
Right.
It burns cleaner, less fumes, less emissions, less.
So can you explain what E85 is for the people that don't know what E85 is?
E85 is ethanol. Basically, you'll hear the term, especially with the cob access port corn on the cob.
Right.
So with ethanol, it makes more power. If you take a stock car versus a modified car, you can do barely any mods on ethanol and make more power than a car with 10K.
So basically,
mods.
what E85 is just higher content ethanol fuel for the car, right?
Yeah, it has higher octane. It gives more energy when burned.
Okay.
So compared to pump gas, you get less mileage, but more output, if you will, more energy
Right.
from it.
Okay, that's fair. And so, like, now we were talking about, like, the changes that have happened in the past couple of days, like, where's your stance in terms of, like, personally, in your own opinion, like, was it good the cab did this? Was it, like, more like a governmental push for, like, new laws? Or is it, like, what's your feeling about everything?
Most of this is coming from they're pushing basically everything they do to meet California CARB compliance, which New York isn't far behind with our emissions, but in California, it's the CARB is California Air Resource Board.
Yeah.
So they're extremely strict. They'll pull you over on the side of the road. They'll test your exhaust coming out. They'll send you to a state ref. CARB is basically now not doing anything that does not comply with what they pass as legal.
Wow.
And of course, California, LA was always known for heavy smog,
Right.
so they went the hardest into it.
So, I mean, so if you really think about this is genuinely the killing of the industry of racing slash enthusiasm of cars.
Yes and no. The obvious thing that it's taking away would be a catless exhaust, but catless over catted, you're really not gaining that much power. It's really minimal.
But if you think about it, this is just the beginning. I mean, this is my opinion, right? Because this is now it's where I come from, where it's like, okay, well, you're talking about like they're already censoring the flex fuel kit, right? And then if you see the actual, like the way that things are
I think
happening.
you might have to cut this.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
Alright, let's take a pause.
You gotta fix this car too, brother. Don't get my butt.
Oh, wait.
What's up?
So yeah, so then as we were saying, it was the actual. We were talking about opinions.
Yeah. So I don't think they're gonna go away from it. What I think.
Oh yeah, so I said that it was.
Yeah,
I think
right.
it was the actual killing of the
Industry,
not industry per se, but the actual average enthusiast that wants to just not do massive car race where you have to keep it in your garage and transport it in a trailer, but rather like, you know what, let me just put a couple horsepower more and feel a little better and call that my half modified car, right?
For the average consumer, the parts that you'll still be able to use, because the big panic right now is everybody thinks the access port's going to be useless. They can't tune for anything.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect.
Yeah. Okay. So the stuff you're going to lose is obviously, as I was saying, catless exhaust, which if you're looking at power, you really don't gain much compared to catted. So that's not going to make a difference. The TGV deletes you're not really gaining power from. The big thing with that is because it nerfs the flex fuel kit.
Okay.
So that's where the TGVs come in, or in his case, buying the manifold that automatically deletes the TGVs can no longer be used.
Interesting.
But your average catted downpipes, headers, up pipe, intake, boost controller.
Wastegate.
Well, no, the wastegate's technically it won't stop them from tuning with it. A wastegate is just something companies no longer want to sell.
Right.
Because an external wastegate is just letting exhaust dump to the air to bypass the turbo to control your boost levels.
Okay.
So that's a different issue there was a panic about a little bit further back.
Okay.
Now they're harder to get, but you can still find them.
Okay.
But for the other parts where, they're saying the TGVs, the air pump delete for the STI, or on the WRX with the FA, another common one to delete is the EGR, which returns exhaust gas through the motor.
Okay. All right, so let's just go over the facts right now, right? So a fact is that Cobb is no longer supporting the flex fuel kit. A fact is that Cobb is disabling certain tables on the tuning software for tuners.
For emissions.
For emissions.
Right.
Instead of
anything
for
emissions related.
And also a fact is the fact that Cobb was a little shady in terms of how they announced
Right.
Yeah, there was
their
no
way about it. Right?
advanced warning. It was basically one day you could buy the flex fuel kit, and then the next day you can't use it.
And then a lie is that you can no longer tune. So you are able to still tune. You can still tune your car, not for all parts, not for all things, but you can still use a Cobb Access port. You can still use the software. Tuners can still tune, but not to the extent of modifying emissions. So that is a very important information for this episode. Now, I wanted to bring this episode to you guys because I know that there's a lot of discussion about what is right and what's not. And then this is a couple of enthusiasts just having a conversation, you can say vlog style or podcast style, where we discuss about what's going on and what we think is right, what we think is not right. And I think the general consensus is that Cobb did not do it right by announcing one day that it was okay selling the kit while it was this happening. So
yeah, because they didn't find out overnight.
Right.
So
they obviously had to have
we shouldn't have found out
So
overnight.
the responsibility as a company should have been a stance of, hey guys, we got this information from the government. We're no longer going to be supporting that. It's up to you if you want to continue to buy it or you want to wait for the next version. So that is considered that is exactly what everybody's thinking.
Right.
Now,
And I understand Cobb released, everyone knew this was coming, right? Everyone knew at least something was in the works. Cause
little by little.
Yeah, they released, I think early in January, they were talking about moving over to the GRIMMSPEED initiative, which, we knew it was coming, but for something to happen overnight, and for people to spend thousands of dollars.
There were little things they were doing. Cobb's always been known for, you buy an access port and you can flash an off-the-shelf map onto it, which is like a one-size-fits-all safe map. So it allows you, if you buy their intake with the access port, you can install the intake safely.
Right.
They used to have off-the-shelf maps or OTS maps for their downpipes. So you could buy their downpipe, their intake, and install it.
Right.
But even as far back as a year ago,
they took it down,
they pulled all their downpipe maps off the shelf.
Yeah, because they knew that was happening, and that's exactly the whole thing, that they don't have clear, concise information passing through the consumer. So it is very interesting.
for 90% of you guys out there, you're going to be fine. You guys are on stage 1, stage 2 maps, or you have an intake, a downpipe, a catback. you guys are going to be fine. For the more, I guess, intricate builds where you're getting into changing out manifolds, turbos, front mounts, yeah, then you'll run into some issues. But I don't think it's going to kill the industry. I think it's a good thing. Yeah, people want to look out for the environment and everything like that.
I mean, don't get me wrong,
totally
it's
agree with
great.
that.
It's just that, like, I just hope that this is not something that they're just trying to pass and eventually just be like, okay, you can't do, like, almost like California, you can't even change your exhaust system anymore because they just don't want you to, not necessarily because it does.
If you want to compare it to other relevant things going on, especially in New York, you already can't pass your inspection with tints.
Right.
Really?
Now they have the Sleep Act in place.
Okay.
That's for loud exhausts.
Right.
If you're caught over 95 decibels, I want to say, it's already $1,000 ticket.
Right.
Or
up to 30
fixing
days in
your
jail.
exhaust. Yeah. Or if you're caught a second time, up to 30 days in jail.
Right. So this is just for New York, by the way. This is New York laws
Maximum
for New York
fine.
State.
Like
Maximum fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can like, you can just, I'm sure you can just debate it, like, not debate it, fight it and say, hey, look, I'm changing to their exhaust, OEM exhaust, and they'll just be like, okay, fine, I revoke it. But then if they catch you again, then you're a repeated offender, which means that you probably most likely will have to pay.
At you, right.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, okay, now you're paying $1,000 because you're just switching back and forth every time we give you a ticket. So that being said, but yeah, so also something worth. Okay, cut.
That's right. What's up, man? I got another tidbit for you to continue on to that.
Let's not cut this. Let's continue because as we're talking, Sonny keeps getting parts for his build. So please welcome
this
Sonny.
This is the manifold he is no longer capable of using.
Welcome Sonny with his manifold that he's no longer able to use.
More parts that
so it happened.
you can't do anything with.
He got it right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and open it.
Oh yeah, he didn't even hesitate.
Oh, you want to show him the? Oh, that's beautiful.
I know, I didn't hesitate because I know that he doesn't care. He's gonna return it anyways. All right, moment of truth.
Woo! Oh my Lord.
That is a big boy.
Throw it on right now.
Wow.
Hold it, don't drop it.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, they put the foam when he was on the bag. There we go. Alright.
Wow, that's a really big manifold. That is a really. Wow, I didn't expect it to be this big. I'll close the box and put this on top.
Yeah, let's go. Wait, hold on.
Put the small ones in.
Here's more stuff we can't use.
Yeah.
There you go. Talking about stuff that you can't use, here's one. His manifold, this was in mind for his build where he was gonna go TGV, EGR delete.
Yeah.
Well, what that functions on this is if you look at the tubes coming down, the long runners delete where the TGVs would sit here on your factory manifold.
Right. Now, why did you just cut it and then just make a slot to put the TGVs?
Do you see how beautiful this is?
I know, but I mean, anyways, so this is the example that, like, you just have to spend so much money and time and effort into one thing that you wanted to do, but then suddenly you are not able to because there was not an advance notice saying you're no longer about to do this. This is one of the side effects of what just happened, and I'm sure that he's not the only one in here that in the I guess in
grand scheme of things.
In the grand scheme of things, that is just like, oh, I can't do it anymore now. This is fairly expensive. Now imagine all the parts he has ranked up and all the people that have tried thinking that they were going to be able to still do things, right? Now, as he says, is true. It's not like he's not going to be able to do anything because he will still be able to do some type of tuning to his engine, but it will not be what he already planned for, what he already envisioned, what he already wanted it to be. So, it just seems to me like it's very unfortunate, but I mean, I guess change is good, but sometimes change is harsh.
So at the moment, most people are going to have two options. Option A, which for a majority of people is just going to be do not tune with these parts.
Right.
Temporarily, open source tuning is available for those who want to do it.
Right.
Now, for the STI with the EJ, I know it's an option. I don't believe open source has much support for the FA platform and the WRX.
Not yet.
At least not that I know of. It's been with the e-jigs. It's been around,
There is
forever.
a tuner that's working on something right now through the Tactrix cable, and he's downloading some updated software that we heard in the past week. I'm not going to name any names, but
yeah, no names.
You should be hearing something.
Don't say names. This is just for purely discussion. Now, let me just remind you guys, if you made it to this part, this is very good information, and just don't take it to the heart. This is what we know so far and what we've researched about. So if you have some other news that you want to share, just don't forget to leave a comment on the comment box, and we'll happily discuss with you guys. They're with me all the time, and I'll definitely relay the message to them. And I'm also going to be tagging them with their Instagram tags, and you guys can also message them. And so just I appreciate you guys being here. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. But yeah, so like closing remarks, like what do you guys think it's gonna be for the future? Like what do you think it's coming besides or past this point?
Honestly, I think, especially in California and New York, I know there's everyone has seen these takeover meets.
Yeah.
I feel like that has brought a lot of light to our little niche community of just modifying cars and things like that. I really believe that was the main factor in this.
That
100%.
also ties into why we have the Sleep Act.
Right.
And why they're ticketing loud exhausts.
Right, yeah.
And I believe that most of this stuff, it's going to go back underground. Where it's not going to be posted on social media. Hey, I got this done here. I got this done here.
Right.
Let me tag a tuner. No, it's going to be hearsay. I feel like that's where we should be going, because there's way too many people that buy these regular cars, where I just Subarus, WRX, mod them, do crazy things to them, and then the enthusiast in the community gets blamed for it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, this goes beyond Subaru. It's anybody, because now you have young kids going out buying a car that has 400, 500, 600 horsepower from the factory. They don't understand what they're doing. They're acting a fool. There's a million cameras out because everybody wants to be the next big thing on Instagram.
Right.
Get the clout, get their 15 minutes of fame. And then you have stuff happen like we had a few weeks ago in the city where, the poor guy's trying to go in the middle of the idiot doing donuts.
Let's not say poor guy. The guy who decided to want to go into the middle to take videos.
I say poor to an extent because it is a kid, young, dumb type of thing.
Yeah. He shouldn't have lost his life for that, though.
Yeah.
I feel like there could have been more.
Things like this happen. You have destruction of property, terrorizing people. That same
closing
night,
down bridges, closing down highways.
the same night that kid got his face run over, the same group of people stole a cab, ripped the old guy out of his cab and stole it.
That's not acceptable. Yeah.
But this all gets lumped as far as law enforcement, government is concerned. This all gets lumped as car enthusiasts, the car community, when it's two completely different factors. If you go to stop with these people and try to ask them about, what work have you done to your motor? How have you tweaked or modified your suspension?
They don't know any
what's
of it.
What's your goals? They don't know anything. They know, that's my IG handle. That's it.
Yeah, that's all they know. That's correct. Yes.
So as much as it's annoying, especially for Subarus, because Subarus by nature are noisy, I don't mind dealing with it, just hoping it weeds out these people and let them go find another way. It'll ruin a community.
Because I feel like if you want to be a part of this, you're going to have to truly want to be a part of it. You have to be an enthusiast. Yeah. You have to love this. It's not just, hey, I seen this car. Hey, my friend did this yesterday. I'll buy a car and try to recreate the same thing. We're not doing this for Instagram.
Yeah. Now
we do this because we love this.
Right. So now also I wanted to bring up this company who actually went public on Facebook. There's, what is it? Ray Motorsports. Ray Motorsports, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a company named Ray Motorsports.
Shout out to Ray.
Yep. They came up with a statement on Facebook, and they said that the actual consumer is and should know what's to come, and if anybody wanted to return their parts because they were already in mind to be paired with cobb now banned changes, that they will be happy to refund the customers. So I think it's a great approach from companies, and I think every company should do the same. And I'm not saying that cobb did not do that, but I do think that cobb did not come out from the very beginning saying, if you wish to return it, we'll give you your money back. It was kind of like an afterthought, if I may say. But that shout out to that company who came up publicly on Facebook as soon as he'd heard that things were happening, and then decided to offer their money back to whoever had bought that. So
she actually started leading the way. I think she was one of the first
yeah,
shops.
so I think that's a great, like, that really shows that company really deserves business, because it is indeed keeping in touch with whoever buys their products.
Yeah, that's how you take care of your customers.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I mean, I think, do you guys have anything else to
As
tell
a
the
closing
public?
statement, for the most part, that people who are actually enthusiasts, so if you look at, like for us, the local one is Wicked Big Meat,
Right.
where you have the actual enthusiasts there and not the people trying to show off for fame.
Right.
You see the size of the community, you see the size of when you're there, the people who stop, talk to each other about their builds, and have a genuine passion. The community is large enough that the people who want to be in, who want to keep it alive, it will survive. It's a lot of it's just going to become what your own abilities are, who you know,
Right.
and things are just going to be, low key, quiet,
Right. Yeah.
and let the people who want to try to be loud and throw everything online, and they're all going to get taken down.
Yeah.
While we
10, 15 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, people weren't posting, hey, meet us at this location
Right.
on
to
Instagram
name
and sharing
specifically
it.
last night, I'm not going to name the officer's name, but what did he tell us? They were looking specifically for, and I'm not mentioning the guy's Instagram because the last thing he needs is more people looking him
Right.
up.
Yeah.
The one throwing the takeover meets where the kid got run over and
Right,
the destruction is happening. So they know who's doing it, and they're going after these people specifically. So for everybody
As it
else
should
at the moment, just lay low, mind your business, and it's all going to be
Take
all
it
right.
easy. Just put everything on pause,
Yeah.
man. It's going to come back.
Yeah.
We'll be here. We'll be
So
fine.
we'll see. So this is this. I hope this was helpful. I hope this conversation somewhat gave you guys some information. And yeah, like I said, just leave comments. And
You have to cut this. He cannot pull up like this. You have to cut this, bro. Calvin,
yeah. So
get out here.
if you guys made it to this point, thank you for. Thank you for staying along with this
That's our
until
takeover
this really smart guy comes back, guns blazing, making a ton of noise, and suddenly he turns it off. So, but anyways, thank you for being here, and I hope this information was really helpful for you guys,
Yeah,
and
you
that
guys-
you're able to use it for a good cause. And as I mentioned, if you guys have any information, if you have any questions, please don't forget.
Questions, concerns, comments,
Yeah,
drop it in the like below.
Drop it
man.
in the link below, and then don't forget to share it with your friends if you think that they don't know what this whole means. And
If we missed anything, let us know.
yep,
If there's
thank
any
you.
updates, let us know what's
That's
going
right.
on.
Yep, and shout out to some guy that random guy that just showed up and just passed by. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, so I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for being on Missing Gears. Peace out.